Hello everyone and welcome to my fourth season of GTNH. As usual, the first thing we did before even starting the questbook is to rush into a place with a bed. That way we don't have to worry about the night. And now we can finally start doing the quests. So, as usual, there are a bunch of annoying quests to do. And after quickly completing all of the easy quests, we got to the first quest where we can play it a little bit smarter. So we have to collect one stack of cobblestone. You could do that by just making an underground room, which could be useful. But a better trick is to collect this cobblestone where it's in a way of something else. Okay, what I mean is that instead of randomly digging cobblestone, we can look for some ores. Now, if you didn't know, ores in this modpack spawn in big veins, which are deposited every 3x3 chunks. Okay, to get a better view, you can hit F9 3 times. If you hit F9 3 times, you see those grids like that. At this point, you should go in the middle of the 3x3 area where there is this blue thing, and you just dig there. Now, depending on how you play, you either want to make a nice staircase, or some people just dig down, turn on keep inventory, and teleport back home once they need to go back. I still haven't decided how I'm going to play this season, but I think most likely I'm just going to enable keep inventory at this point. Anyways, okay. You see how I found... Okay, and here I found cassiterite sand. This is an ore. If you find an ore, this is ore. It doesn't say small ore. I'm going to show small ores later. This one is a full ore. That means this spawned in a vein. And if you look up in any eye, cassiterite sand. This one, no, sand. This one, this is what we found. If you look it up, there is this handy page which tells you vein stats, cassiterite sand, and tin vein. Now, those veins spawn as huge clusters of ore. Those can be almost 3x3x3 chunks big. Every vein is a little bit different from the others. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but they are all 9 blocks deep. The first 3, almost 4 layers of that huge deposit of ores is going to be composed of the primary ore. The bottom is going to be composed of the secondary, and in between there is a lot of the between ore too. Then there is also the sporadic ore that is all around that huge chunks of ores. There are a little bits of ores here and there, but usually there are like 1000 of the primary ore in a vein, and there are like 100 of the sporadic one. That's more or less on average what a vein is made out of. Now, here I dug another hole in the ground, and this time I found small graphite ore. Now, this is a small ore, so it's not a true vein, but just a small ore. But it still is very important because, for example, this is small graphite ore. Now, small graphite ore, to explain what I want to say, first let's look at small copper ore. So if you find a small copper ore, it has a page with small ore stats. Small copper can spawn between 60 and 180 in the overworld. So if you find copper in the overworld at this height, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, you can find copper anywhere, everywhere in those planets in this range. And it's just a single ore that spawns like that to give you a little bit of copper. Now, copper is meaningless, but there are other ores that you can only get in this way. So some small ores are really valuable because that's the only way of getting something really specific, but it's mostly some rare gems and some stuff in the late game. Right now, you don't really care about those small copper ores. But the thing is that if you look at this small graphite ore does not have small ore stats. But we found a small graphite ore, even if it does not have a small stats page. That is because veins, when a vein spawns, it doesn't spawn only the ore vein, it also spawns some small ores of that vein all above that vein. So, for example, graphite is part of the graphite. Okay, this is another graphite vein, but it does not spawn on the overworld, so we don't look at this. That means only This vein can be part of it because overworld, so it must be this one. This vein spawns only super deep. The thing is that, okay, this one spawns only super deep, but we found a small ore quite higher up. Anyway, what that means is that this is not a random ore that spawns anywhere. It can only spawn above a graphite diamond veins, and that means that below this ore we can find a lot of diamonds. And that's all that ore means. But you know, we found diamonds. By the way, I figured out you can right click on ore for it to be added to the map. You don't have to break it. And after collecting enough stone, we can finally move on to the next tier. Now, this tier will require us to collect a lot of sand, gravel, and clay. This stuff is required to make a smeltery, but the better tip is to just go find a smeltery in a village. Still, you have to collect all of the stuff required by those quests, but try not to use this stuff. I mean, you're going to need this stuff, so feel free to use it, but like, I think it's easier to find a village with a smeltery than doing this smeltery by hand the first time. Later on, later on you will need clay for many things, but there are way better workarounds for clay rather than looking for clay. We will see that later. For example, you will need a lot of bricks. Instead of making bricks from clay, it's way easier to use the brick house I showed at the very beginning of this video. The next quest will ask us to make a bucket. Now, I don't like using those clay buckets, but I still think it's worth it to make multiples. So don't be afraid of wasting too much stuff. Like, there's a thing called batch crafting. Batch crafting means craft way more than you need, so you won't need it later on. It's something super important in GTNH. You should always craft extra. Like, most of the times, you should craft like 10 times what the quest asks you for. Alright, so I was saying, trying to also calculate how much you need. Like, to make a bucket, you need 5 dusts. Each dust is made by 4 small dusts, which you make from 1 clay. So you need a total of 20 clay balls for each bucket. So try to figure out the correct amount. Also, tools. Make a lot of tools because you're going to eat through all of those tools really quickly. So don't craft one, craft a lot. There, look at how quickly it gets destroyed. Okay, many things I wanted to say, but next thing I want to say is I hate those clay buckets. This playthrough I'm doing a bunch. This playthrough is 6. Probably I overdid it. I was saying, yeah, soon we will get iron buckets, which are way better. There are a few downsides to those clay buckets. If you use those with lava, I think they get destroyed. But right now, that's the only thing we can do. Like, there are probably ways of getting iron buckets right now, but let's follow the quest book. It's annoying to collect this clay. Also, earlier on, I said that there are better ways of getting clay. The way you should ideally use is as soon as you can get a steam macerator, which should be one priority once you get to steam age, find a mountain made out of terracotta and macerate it. It's going to be way faster and way more efficient than using a shovel to collect the small amounts of clay. Oh, by the way, quest rewards. My suggestion when you have to pick a choice is you probably don't know. There are some points where there are some really useful things you could choose from, but most of the time the choice, you can figure out what to choose almost always probably. Like, take this quest for instance. The only big question will be the loot bags. Personally, I'm not a big fan of loot bags. Most of these times you get trash out of those, but just take whatever you think you like the most. Like, I think for half of the quest, there is something I'd rather take than the loot bag, and half quests where there isn't anything interesting enough, so I just take the loot bag. Like, collecting 16 sand doesn't take that much effort. That's just food. May as well try your luck. You can get some useful stuff. Okay, we got food. If you look at the recipe for the loot bag, you can enchant it. Getting a fortune tree book in Stone Age is probably out of the question. That applies to other loot bags mostly, but if you use the enchantment, you get better loot. Anyways, if you look at the usages of the loot bag, you can see what you can actually get, and you can see the stats. For example, in the Stone Age loot bag, you can basically get only foods. I mean, oh, that would be nice, actually, I guess. Like, collecting wood without a lumber axe is quite annoying, so that would be a thing. Oh yeah, one good thing about GT... Okay, most people will hate it, but I like the progression where at the beginning you have a really trash axe, and later on you get the axe that can chop down a wall tree. I like that feeling of progression. You have to endure you have to endure it at the beginning, but it feels rewarding once you can get the better axe. Anyways, what was I even doing? Okay, the next quest is going to make paper. Now, the only reason I made more than one bucket is for this quest. Because if you do this thing with a single bucket, it's going to be a torture, a nightmare. I mean, I started this YouTube channel. The reason I started this YouTube channel was because there were people making videos crying about having to do this stuff. So I started this YouTube channel just to show that it's not that bad. Maybe it's a little bit grindy. Yeah, it's probably a super grindy game. If you're into grindy games, it's beautiful. If you are not, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Maybe GTNH is not for you. But I mean, figure out yourself. Anyways, we got the logs. We can make the wood pulp. Oh wait, you get 2 per each. So technically I have enough for the quest. You know what? Let's make more. Let's batch craft. Okay, the thing is that I wanted 6 buckets because that way we can't get the crafting station yet. So right now, after you craft it, even if you leave the wood pulp in there, this crafting table doesn't. Oh, it doesn't give. Okay, last version it will drop this on ground. Now it keeps it in your inventory. Cool. Okay, another big thing which is not new of this version but of the last one is that we can do this. You can favorite a recipe. You can favorite a recipe, then you press Ctrl Shift A on the favorite, and here you get this thing. Then if you Control scroll wheel, you can set a multiplier. Then if you have all of the ingredients in your inventory, you have to press Shift plus C. So nice. And there. So craft more paper. Oh, that's so good. I mean, moving things in the crafting table is super annoying to me. Some people may enjoy moving things in the crafting table. I don't. I do enjoy slowly collecting wood at the beginning. I mean, after collecting enough wood, I get tired of it, but I enjoy doing it at the beginning. Like, you can go listen to some podcast or have something else play on the background. Alright, Tinker Construct is probably the most famous mod there is in modern Minecraft, but just in case, if you don't know how those 4 works, first one is the stencil table. Here you can decide, here you make basically those pattern things. Those are parts of tools. For example, I still don't have this one. You click, you get this. If you have a pattern chest, this one is just a chest for those things. And if you put it next to this one, you can access the chest from this one without having to change UI. This one is part builder, which allows you to actually make tool parts. Those are the forms. Here you craft things. Once again, this one can access a nearby pattern chest. I think we're going to use flinted wood. I'm not even sure. Probably the questbook tells you what to do, what to use, but I'm guessing. So I think the questbook wants us to do, okay, all of this. What does it want to do? Okay, pickaxe, shovel, flint axe. So you put here the thing, the pattern, here the material, here you got the thing. So I need this one, this one, this one. And finally, the tool station is the thing that allows you to actually make those tools. The tool station can also be used to repair those tools. Where is it? There. You can repair it with the material of the pickaxe, and you can add some stuff to the tools to get some extra additions. There is this book which you can easily craft, but it's also a reward. Somewhere you craft it again. You get the MK2. Okay, here it tells you a little bit of things, and also it tells you the modifier you can add to get extra bonuses. But also, more simply, if you look in any eye, anything like front ingots, okay, check the usages, not the recipes. Okay, tool materials. Here you can get the stats of those things. But most likely, there are also parts, but okay, I think people already know how this mod works. Also, if you collect 270 blocks with that pickaxe, it will level up and gain enough durability to collect iron ore. And but pure iron ore is not easy to find. Rather, it's way easier to collect some of the iron oxides. This vein, for example, mineral sand, is something you can directly smelt into iron. And very quickly you will realize that in this mod pack there are going to be a lot of different items and inventory management becomes an issue. Now, some people like to just throw everything in whatever chest they find, and then when they need something, they just use the T hotkey on any eye, and this will highlight the inventory that contain whatever you look for, but I'm not much of a fan. Like, I personally don't like this way of playing. I mean, it really works well to find whatever you need, but I don't like chests like this one. So what I usually do is a little bit of set inventory sorting. For example, here I'm going to keep all of the raw ores, crushed ores, dusts. This one is going to be random blocks, stones in block 4. This one is dusts. This one is organic stuff. This one is actually unsorted things I still have to decide where to put. This one is for coins. And those are the 3 most important. You will want next to your crafting station. Later on, this one will be upgraded to a crafting station and will be able to access this chest, which will be upgraded to. And here I keep all of the tools. I'm considering the buckets as tools. I mean, I keep it like, I like it this way. This chest is going to have all of the useful materials, so all of the things used into craftings, basically. And this one is going to be for all of the machines. I mean, those are not exactly machines right now, but you should get the idea. Like, you need this one to build a smeltery. This one is a tool station and a crafting table. So I call those machines. Later on, it will be a chest for machines. Okay. Now, one cool trick. Let's say you went back from digging stuff. Okay, this trick I'm going to show. The first time you will have to do it manually, but let's say you have this trash in your inventory. If you click this arrow, it's going to look for nearby inventory that have this exact item inside it, and it will put this one where there already is some of it. So, for example, here I have 6. Here I have 2. If I click this one, oh, come on. Why does it not? It's a little bit glitchy, I think. Yeah, there is some configuration to make it work better. I think the range is too limited. There is only... Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't check more containers, but you see the idea, it puts the things into the correct chest. Like, just click spam this button until it empties your inventory. I remember it working a little. I remember it getting stuck a little bit sometimes, but usually it works better than this. Okay. Oh, by the way, there are many different blocks you can use to build your house. There is a whole quest chapter that is all about aesthetic blocks. It's not this one. Okay, this one got completely overhauled. Well, there are many blocks. Most of those, it's a little bit too early to look into those, but it doesn't take much to unlock all of the various building blocks. Usually I wait for when I get the Ticon hammer that can dig 9 blocks at once. And then when I will go dig a lot of ore, I will come back with a lot of cobblestone and I'm going to use the bricks for my house. So right now I'm going to keep it like that. And I will super carefully sleep as soon as it's night. And after some more grind, we managed to make our first multiblock. Multiblock because it's a structure composed of multiple blocks. Now, this one, right now we probably only want one of those. It's really useful for making better fuel. I heavily suggest using the creosote oil with a bucket in furnaces. Each bucket of creosote oil should smelt 32 items, so you get as much fuel on creosote as you get on charcoal. Mostly you don't really have any other usage for the creosote oil at this tier, and you probably want this tank to always be empty, so may as well use this on furnaces. But the thing I wanted to show is that with multi-blocks, for every Greg Tech multi-block, always remember, most likely you will always want more than one, and to save on blocks, you can wall share. Wall share literally means use one wall of the multi-block to make the second. So it just goes like that. And this way, this one works. We saved the 9 blocks by building those like that. Also, they just added to the game a nice guide, which explains so many things. I'm not even reading this because most likely 99% of those things are things I already know, but here you can see an example of a bigger wall share. Yeah, it even says it. 4 share cocoa. You can even make 8, you make 4 more on the back. Then you can automate it, but right now we don't have access to any of this automation. So for the moment, it's only going to be useful for making some fuel. And after melting enough iron, we can finally move on to the next quests. And once again, don't make just one tool, but prepare multiples because you're going to need multiple of those tools. Also, when you make plates, always make way more than you probably need, and just get every tool. And with those new tools, we unlock many new things. Now, you should probably read each one of those quests and try to understand what each of those items is, but I'm going to show you my favorite things out of all of those quests. So the first thing is going to be the new vending machine, where you can put in all of your coins, and then you can buy whatever you want. Now, alright, I think I'm too poor for any of those quests, so we will see this one again later. The next useful thing is the crafting station. This one is like a crafting table, but it can hold items when you close the UI. So you can leave things inside it, but most importantly, it can access things in a nearby chest. That way you can leave all of your tools in the associated chest, and whenever you want to craft something, you can use the NI auto crafting and it will automatically pull items from the chest and send it back. Good. We can also make better storage. The gold chests have way bigger storage, and we can also make barrels. Those can stack many stacks of items. Ideally you want to use those for like cobblestone and such, but I'm going to do those a little bit later because they do cost a little bit of wood. Right now I don't have that many items to stock, so I will make this stuff later on when I will have more materials, so I can use the materials, and I will also need the space. Right now I don't need the storage space, so I'm not going to use materials for this stuff. Next we have this one, the lunchbox. This is quite cool because it's just to manage food, but I think it's super cool. Now it has different mode. You can keep it open or closed. When it's closed and you click on a chest that has food, okay, when it's in that state and you click on a chest with food, it takes the food from the chest. Then you shift click, it closes. Okay, figure it out how it works. Okay, some point it takes food from the chest and then you can eat it. There is a mode that allows you to edit its inventory and a mode that you can just eat stuff inside it. That has enough space for a full food rotation, so you can't eat more than 4 times the same food in a row. This one helps you with that. But the thing that is probably most useful if you don't have any luck, and the thing that I actually need now, is the ore finder. Now, if you cannot find some ores, this one will help you. This one will need some redstone, and to get redstone, the procedure is a little bit different from the other ores. Basically, you have to wash the impure redstone. If you have the crushed one, you can crush it again. You get the impure dust, then you throw it in a cauldron and you get the clean redstone. Once you craft it, you're going to need some ore to put inside it. Now wait, you don't even need ore. You can put in this one anything that is made of what you want. I think I slightly changed how it works, but yeah, I'm not even too sure. I had a little bit of... I think I had really good luck with ores, I think. I found basically everything. The thing I did not... Like, I found 2 mica veins. No, 1 or 2. Well, I found mica, which is the rarest ore. We will need this way later on, but usually it's quite hard to find. I found a lot of diamonds are not there. Anyways, I did not find copper. That's the weird thing. So we can take that small copper ore I found at the beginning of the stream. Where did I leave it? I think I didn't even collect that small copper. No, wait, I never found a copper ore. I think this quest, yeah. If you don't even have something to use in the wand, you can buy it in the vending machine. Oh wait, there's a quest reward. Okay, so I put this one in there, and now I'm basically going to walk around with this one in my hotbar, and it should start moving whenever I find that vein. It should have like a 64 search depth, but most ores are above 64, so unless you go on a mountain, it should work. And eventually, after a lot of walking around, you should be able to find whatever you're looking for. I mean, make sure you're looking for something that actually spawns in the dimension you're looking for, but eventually you should find it. And after looking for way longer than expected, finally found some copper ore. And I can't believe there wasn't a single copper vein. Like, I walked through all of that. Can't believe that was the first copper vein I found. I was starting to lose hope, but okay. Eventually you find it. To make this one... What is this? What? Oh, is that all it can do? Okay, look at the recipes. I don't know why it's showing this. Anyways, to make it your final one, you basically need only iron, gold, and redstone. Iron is the most common ore. Gold and redstone spawn as small ores a little bit everywhere, so this one should be really easy to get. Like, you can find, those are really easy to find. And once we have both tin and copper, we can get dust. We can get the dust out of those materials and mix those to obtain bronze. And once we have enough bronze, we can finally craft our first small coal boiler. And with this, we are now in Stone Age. I think. Are we? Are we not? Oh, you have to do a checkbox. So, as I was saying, and now I have to craft another one. Always make sure you are following the quest, because now I have to craft another one of those 4-letter reasons. Nice. So, as I was saying, after we craft a second small coal boiler, we finally unlocked the Steam Age. And that is going to be what we will be doing in the next episode. Bye bye.